We went to the trash can to see what we could find because we saw people dumping rubbish there. New computers are being delivered here and they're throwing away the rubbish.
Well, they exist.
Ratings are down, their bias exposed, their desperation palpable. CNN is on a downward spiral they don't seem to be able to pull themselves out of. The only question is, when do they hit the ground? CNN ratings have fallen 30% since last year, and they don't have a show in the top 20. In fact, the only show they have in the top 25 is Anderson Cooper 360 in at 24. And there is a reason for this. CNN has torpedoed their reputation. According to an ongoing YouGov survey, CNN's brand collapse began back in June, as the left-wing network became even more strident and nakedly transparent in its crusade to personally destroy Donald Trump, all in an effort to make Hillary Clinton president. CNN's descent from first place in the brand survey to last place was at first a slow one. In October and November, as the Clinton News Network pulled out all the stops and kitchen sinks in its arsenal against Trump, the bottom fell out. They spent day after day turning non-stories into scandal, and now everyone can see their bias, and people don't like it.
It doesn't bother me at all, but I like real news, not fake news. Give fake news.
CNN began to expose their bias during the 2016 election. Caught on a hot mic, a CNN host can be heard coaching a panel of voters.
That America already is great, but we are great because we are good.
America's great. She stated that America is already great, and I tend to agree with that. Though we are slow in progressing in a number of areas, we are progressing, and we need to continue the momentum.
It became clear that CNN had partisan interests and were supporting Clinton for president, but the bias doesn't stop at elections. They've been caught pushing broader leftist causes as well. After the terrorist attack at a concert in London, CNN was caught staging a scene with Muslim protesters, amassing some Muslim protesters together to act as a backdrop to virtue signal about hashtag not all Muslims. You can plainly see people giving them direction on where to stand.
Simon Mosick, recording. All I want to show you now, viewers, is a wonderful.
Whether or not the protests were real, it is incredibly shoddy journalism to stage a scene like that, and all in the defense of Islam. CNN polls routinely skew to the left. Their polls of presidential approval routinely reflect lower approval than other polls. The same can be said for just about any issue they poll on. Then there's the ultimate display of bias, the most mainstream conspiracy theory of my lifetime, Trump-Russia collusion. CNN has been stoking the flames of this conspiracy. They lose their minds over anything to do with Russians, desperate to connect the election with Russian interference. How extensive was Russia's use of Facebook to meddle in the presidential election? Even Facebook doesn't know. These sources said it is entirely possible that unidentified ad buys may still exist on the social media network today. And Al Franken isn't having any of it. The coverage, courtesy CNN.
How did Facebook, which prides itself on being able to process billions of data points and instantly transform them into personal connections for its user, somehow not make the connection that electoral ads paid for in rubles were coming from Russia? They're political ads. You put billions of data points together all the time. That's what I hear that these platforms do. They're the most sophisticated things invented by man ever. Google has all knowledge that man has ever developed. You can't put together rubles?
Alright, calm down. Rubles, I get it, I know. But as it turns out, Facebook looked into those ads and found they had nothing to do with influencing the election. Most of the ads ran after the election, a very important bit of information CNN leaves out. Facebook Vice President Ron Goldman tweeted Friday that the Russian ad buys on the popular social media platform were not to sway the outcome of the election, contrary to media coverage. In fact, he said the majority of Russian ad spending happened after the election, which very few outlets have covered. because it doesn't align with the main media narrative. Most of the coverage of Russian meddling involves their attempt to affect the outcome of the 2016 US election. I have seen all of the Russian ads, and I can say very definitively that swaying the election was not the main goal.
We are now focused.
People are buying ads on your platform with rubles.
I will put you in the Situation Room. We have major breaking news right now. The U.S. Justice Department has just named a special counsel in the Russia investigation.
That is the kind of intense coverage they give their hope. Special Counsel Mueller's probe has been the platform for every CNN anchor to speculate about what terrible crime Trump is going down for with no evidence at all.
This is a significant step.
A development that could change everything.
I think we're going to see justice.
Bob Mueller is very thorough. Good for the investigation, maybe not so much for President Trump.
Now, there is no allegation in this indictment that any American was a knowing participant in this illegal activity. There is no allegation in the indictment that the charged conduct altered the outcome of the 2016 election.
There's no allegation in this indictment that any American was a knowing participant in this illegal activity. There's no allegation in this indictment that charged conduct altered the outcome of the 2016 election. Ouch. That doesn't sound good. Not great for your narrative. But maybe there's more to come, right? Oh, the House Intel Committee wrapped up too. Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee said Monday that they did not find any evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Kremlin in more than a year-long probe of 2016 Russian election interference. Well, CNN, what now? Double down and don't stop. So desperate for a scandal, CNN makes Trump out to be in imminent danger from his Diet Coke habit, a habit of 12 cans a day according to unnamed sources who probably just made it up, where CNN demonizes him for having, gasp, 2 scoops of ice cream. He doesn't even offer some more to the others he is eating with, the monster.
12 cans per day!
And it is the use of unnamed sources that have fueled most of CNN's hysteria. Unnamed sources are supposed to be used sparingly and only in the most sensitive of situations. If someone won't go on record about how much ice cream Trump eats, it isn't a story worth printing. But that won't stop CNN as they find even less worthy, more ridiculous stories to cover. In the most investigative work CNN has done in a decade, they sent a reporter to Russia to scope out the supposed troll farm and to dig through the trash, finding nothing. Even the reporter on the scene wasn't proud of it.
Finally, just quickly, you looked through the trash there. What did you find?
Precaution. Yes, we did.
Keeping with the theme, they also sent reporters to interview a sex coach in Thailand who wanted to trade evidence of Trump-Russia collusion for her freedom. I guess Stormy Daniels turned out to be convenient, closer to home, easier to cover.
Yeah, I mean, this is a story that the headline pretty much says it all.
Yeah, it says you are desperate for anything that can right the unacceptable wrong of Donald Trump getting elected. That desperation can be dangerous. Like a wounded animal, CNN's troubles have led to them lashing out.
I got a bad feeling about this.
In an attempt to squash the decline in credibility CNN is inflicting on themselves, they decided to attempt to silence opposition, starting with a run-of-the-mill meme poster. For the crime of posting a GIF with Trump tackling a CNN-faced man, he was threatened into apologizing and behaving. How CNN wound up in a blackmail boondoggle. CNN said online that it had decided not to publish the user's name because he's a private citizen who apologized, showed remorse, and said he would not repeat his ugly behavior. CNN reserves the right to publish his identity should any of that change. That last sentence made CNN a target. Well, you think that they essentially told him if you ever posted something they didn't like, they would dox him and smear him as a Nazi. How is that acceptable? And it only got worse. They would set their sights on a news organization next. Whatever you think of InfoWars, CNN should not actively campaign for the shutdown of another news source. They should see this slippery slope the clearest of anyone. Instead, they all but admit to reporting YouTube videos in an attempt to close down InfoWars' YouTube account. First, they tell you how the channel will be banned. The Alex Jones channel, InfoWars' biggest YouTube account, received 1 strike for that video. A source with knowledge of the account told CNN. YouTube's community guidelines say if an account receives 3 strikes in 3 months, the account is terminated. Then they tell you what they did. But CNN has identified 3 YouTube videos from InfoWars that cite such hoaxes and asked if they also violated YouTube's policies. The YouTube spokesperson said the videos sent in by CNN were flagged to the policy team for review on Thursday evening, and how eager they are to get it done. CNN sent repeated inquiries to YouTube on the outcome of the review, but has not received a response. Incredible that journalists would be so giddy about shutting down other journalists. On First Amendment grounds alone, this is deeply unsettling. But this spiral will continue. They will continue with the slanted coverage in an attempt to take down Trump. CNN's failures will lead to greater desperation, which will lead to desperate actions that will reveal their bias. The spiral will continue downward. CNN seems unwilling to right the ship, and at this point it may not be possible to salvage any credibility. No, CNN will spiral ever downward until it crashes. We can only hope it will be soon. We are the Republic's walls. They will have to come and take it.